in the morning. Um, and so yeah, I just needed to make a change because I had this lifestyle change that affected my ability to be active because I was focused on business and focused on making money and focused on working and trying to get married and start a family. That's what I'm working on right now. So that's a big change from just having to take care of class and working out. So
Yeah.
I just kind of let the fitness and nutrition fall by the wayside, even though I have a strong background in it.
Yeah.
And so getting back into this was a godsend for me.
Nah, for real, man. Yeah, and that's always a big adjustment with like guys who played sports before. So like it's like as an athlete, I'm sure you can attest to this, man. It's like you have a certain mindset. It's like by any means necessary, you're gonna get it done, and that's kind of what you did with athletics. Working out 4 to 6 hours a day and making sure you're eating right. But then when you transition to the work life, it sounds like, hey, man, I gotta put this same effort towards my business and towards my relationship with my fiance, like that type of thing. And it's
Right.
easy to let that fall by the wayside. And as an athlete, you have this identity, like where, hey, this is what we're going to prioritize. And then if you can't give it 100% because we like to go all in on things, it's like, man, I'm not going to do it all. I'm not going to half-ass this. Like I'm going to go all in. So yeah, I guess that was the biggest adjustment for you, man. Just being able to like make it something where we don't have to spend too much time on it, and give it the same amount of effort, but still get some results, man. So it's definitely, I mean, more than just a scheduling thing. Like it's definitely a mindset shift you got to make.
It's 100% a mindset thing. I mean, because like you said, I mean, you said it perfectly. It's for me, it's 100% or nothing. I get very, very passionate about things. And so I put all that passion into my work. And so the other things suffered. And then I put all my passion into my work and my relationship. So
Yeah.
my fitness and nutrition suffered. But I saw that as a decent trade-off because, you know, putting passion into my work is going to help me build a family, help set me up for future
Right,
success.
right.
Putting that passion into my relationship was what was going to allow me to have a family in the future.
Right. Yeah.
So having, you know, I didn't have enough passion to split around. But for
Yeah.
me, it was a mindset shift that yes, you can still do these things. You can still focus on your fitness and nutrition without losing the other things that you have in your life.
Yeah.
You can manage it as long as you're smart with your time
Mhm.
and you know how to focus your energy as far as eating and things like that go.
Right, right. And I think a lot of guys like yourself, they will fall into that dichotomy where it's like either or, right? Like I gotta either have this successful business, have this great relationship, or have my health. And when you're used to spending 4 to 6 hours a day getting your health, that's what you're conditioned to think that it takes. So I think the big thing is just having that synergy between both where they can both complement each other, like taking care of your health so that you can show up better in your business and your relationships. And your business and your relationship isn't taking away from your time with your health too. And that's also your time to kind of disconnect from everything as well. So yeah, man, I love the mindset shifts you make. But like explain to me where you were before. Like I think we connected right around the holidays, so I got to give it up to you, man. Like you went into the new year like, hey, I'm gonna make this happen. You didn't say like, let me wait until the holidays are done, let me wait till this, that, and the third is done, let me hit you up the next quarter like a lot of people do. It's like you were committed to making it work back then. Like right around that time, I think it was like late December. Like where would you describe your fitness levels before we started working together, man? Like how did you feel and how was your energy like?
So I know I started the program December 29th. That was the first day. I was looking at progress pictures the other day.
Right.
And so kind of leading up to that, I had been working out probably in September and October.
Yeah.
And I worked out and I was like, man, I need to lose some weight. So I went to the gym and I started getting after it. And it's the same thing with that mindset. Like I was going to go, 100% or nothing. So I was working out really, really hard for about, 3 weeks to a month.
Mhm.
And then I would get so sore that I literally could not work out because I was overexerting myself. I was trying to do the same workouts that I was doing when I was working out 4 to 6 hours a day. And that's just not
Yeah.
possible. It's
Yeah.
just not the way
Like all
you
you
can
know.
do it. Exactly. And so I would get so sore that I would just stop working out and then I would fall off. So I would lose, 5, 7 pounds in a month and then I would fall off and I'd gain it all back. So come December, I was looking at myself and I weighed myself and I was like, man, this is the heaviest that I have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, because I know that I'm getting, well, I was supposed to get married in May. We'll see how that goes. But,
Nice.
um, knowing that going into starting a family and getting married, like I don't want to be unhealthy, because I want to be the guy who's able to run around with my kids. Like I don't want to get winded, and I don't want to have more knee problems in the future because I can't run around with my kids and play and be active.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that old. I'm 27. And so if I don't start doing something now, then it's going to be a lot harder when I hit 35 or 40 to make those lifestyle changes. I didn't want to look back and regret not starting sooner. And so
Right.
that's why I didn't even wait until January 1. I mean, when I was talking to you that night, you said, man, let's start on Monday. Like, let's
It's
just
like
do
one
it.
in the morning. Like, yeah, we
Yeah,
were talking
like,
at 1 in the morning. I'm like, wow, let's go.
let's just might as well start on Monday. Like, don't want to start in the middle of the week. Who cares about January 1st? Like, we started December 29th.
Yeah.
And I was literally leaving the next day to go visit my family. And
Oh,
so
nice.
it was going to be a big shift. Like I was already going on vacation one day into my training protocol. And so trying to figure out that eating with with what workout equipment I had at home when I was visiting my family. And then I turned around a few days later and went and visited my fiance's family. So it
Right.
was a big, like, there was a lot of change, like, right at the beginning. And so it was, it was challenging for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I started when I did, because otherwise I could have just made excuses and pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off. And over the course of these 3 months, I mean, I've gone on two different mini vacations. I dieted through Disneyland in California, which
Yeah.
is crazy, because nobody ever loses weight going to Disneyland because you're eating corn dogs and all that stuff. But I was actually able to lose weight over that trip while I was in California at Disneyland.
Right.
And that would be something that I would have never thought was possible before. But it's all about changing your mindset around how you view food and how you're viewing your exercise routine. And that was the biggest thing for me. And I know you're probably getting to this, but Dallas, you were able to find a way for me to work out 30 minutes a day, because I work 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
30 minutes a day before I go to work,
Yeah.
and still be able to get all of my fitness goals in for the day
Yeah.
in that small little time window. You don't
Right.
have to work out for 2 hours a day, because
Right.
let's be
Right.
real. Most people running a business, most people are self employed, most people who work hard don't have 2 hours a day to work out.
Yeah.
So that's not a limiting factor. You can
Yeah.
still focus on your fitness and nutrition
Mhm.
even with an extra 30 minutes a day. So
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a good point. Yeah, a couple things that you said kind of like stuck out to me. One, you started before you were ready. Like, well, not before you're ready. You didn't wait until you're ready, I guess you could say. Like you started, and yeah, the moment you started, you're like, yeah, I got this trip coming up, but you immediately were just like, all right, how can we plan for this? And you did. So that just built up a callus in terms of you just navigating events and being smart about things. And then the second thing is, yeah, dude, I know you're busy, and I know the biggest thing for you to kind of let go of was like, hey, I'm not going to be working out 6 hours a day. How's this going to work? Like, I'm so used to that. So I know a lot of people are busy just like yourself. Why don't you go ahead and take the folks through your daily schedule in the morning? Like, I know we kind of pushed you with more workouts because that's just your preference. Like, you wanted to work out 5-6 days a week because that was like your personal preference. That's kind of how you enjoyed making your routine. But like, why don't you take them through a typical day? Because I know they'll be able to relate to that.
absolutely.
Um,
So basically, the way we set it up, I get in the office early and I work till late. So typically, I'm in the office between 7 and 7:30 every morning. So we had to find a time where I could still be in office between 7 and 7:30 every morning. So instead of having this huge lifestyle shift and schedule shift, I woke up 20 minutes earlier than I normally did. And I was able to get ready, typically go work out between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. And luckily, not very many people are in the gym between 6 and 6:30 in the morning, so I kind of had free reign to do with what I pleased. So I was able to get that workout in, and it's all supersets. So it's all very rapid succession. You just get it done, and then you're done. And so I was able to go and shower, get to work by 7:30, and then I work until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, sitting behind a computer. That's what I
Right.
do.
Right.
As a health insurance agent, everything that we do is online.
Yeah.
Everything we do is on video conferences, just like this. So
Yeah.
I didn't have the opportunity to take a break in the middle of the day and go work out. So another thing that was really big for me was being able to plan my meals. So we figured out a way to kind of tailor a lunch because I'm pretty boring. I can eat the same thing every single day, but we were able to tailor a lunch that was, that was healthy and fit within my macros, but it was easy. All I had to do was heat it up 3 minutes every day, and then I could sit back down at my desk, eat lunch for 20 minutes, and then be on to the next thing. So we tailored those meals to account for the time restrictions that I had during the day. And then we had built up a little cushion for dinner because I always ate something different for dinner, depending on what my fiance cooked or depending on if we went out to eat. But I
Right.
still had plenty of calories left at the end of the day where I wasn't starving during the day, but I could still eat basically whatever I wanted at night and still lose weight.
Right.
And once we got really into this, on average, I was losing, 2, 3 pounds a week. And I wasn't, I'm working out less than like 3 hours a week. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a dramatic lifestyle shift. I wasn't running stadiums every day. It was just being smart about what I'm eating and
Yeah.
being smart about how I manage my time.
No,
So
for sure,
that
man.
was what made the biggest difference for me.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing that. And as far as the eating, bro, I noticed you said like, yeah, we definitely structured it in a way where it's like, all right, we're gonna eat cleaner and higher volume and foods earlier in the day. Cause you're cool with the boring stuff. Like you can eat the same thing every day and be cool with it. Like I'm the same way. But when you got home with your fiance, she liked to cook something different for dinner. She didn't want to eat the same thing every day. So um, if you were living by yourself and just if all you had to worry about was yourself, you could probably just keep up with the boring stuff, but you had to incorporate a significant other and her wanting to eat something different. So I think that's a good point. Like, hey, you structured it how you wanted in the day and gave yourself a little bit of freedom. You planned ahead and you gave yourself a little freedom for later in the day. Say, hey, I can eat what I want and not feel bad about it.
Well, and the biggest thing is like, I want to emphasize like the food that I was eating did not suck. Like I was eating really good food, even though it was quote unquote boring because it was the same stuff. But I was able to eat, a banana and hard boiled eggs for breakfast because that's what I like. I love eggs. So I could eat a hard boiled egg. It was easy. I didn't have to cook it. Done. But you can fry some eggs, whatever you want to do. And then, second off, for lunch, for the first few weeks, I did chicken and vegetables, like a baked chicken. But then I started going towards the shredded chicken stir fry type of thing, where I would just cook whatever vegetables I liked into the chicken. And it was great because chicken is so low in fat and it's very filling. And then you can include literally whatever vegetables you want. And I got to the point where towards the end of the cutting, I was eating so much less than I was before because
Right.
that it goes back to the mindset shift. Um, really it really just depends on how you view food. I always viewed myself as a big dude, so I had to eat a lot of food.
Mhm.
That's just how I was. Like I've always been a big guy.
Yeah.
But looking back at tracking all my macros at the end of the 12 weeks, I was eating 200, 300 calories for breakfast, 300 calories for lunch, and I was full. And then I gave myself a 900 calorie cushion for dinner.
Yeah.
So I could eat dessert, I could eat pasta, I could eat whatever I wanted to and still lose weight. I could eat wings. Wings was like a big thing for me
Oh,
because
bring
like
that up.
we
Yeah.
love Wingstop, like and Wingstop's delicious. So I could eat wings and fries and still be good and still lose weight the next day.
Right. And
Um,
yeah, that was good. Like we definitely took advantage of using more food volume to keep you full during the day, and then like, hey, like dinner time is your time to kind of enjoy yourself, like kick back, and then even you kind of like went out to eat a few times when you weren't planning on it, and that I think that was helpful there because it was like, all right, I have this big cushion, I'm able to eat wings. Like how many times a week on average did you say you would go out to eat? Like, what, a few?
I would say anywhere between 2 and 4 times a week.
Two and four.
Um, so, when we started with this, I got my fiance on board and she wasn't dieting the same way that I was, but we were
Right.
both wanting to lose weight for the wedding. It just makes sense. And so we would eat at home as much as we could if we had groceries. The times we would end up going out to eat are when we ran out of groceries and we just wanted something else. We were big Mexican food fans here in
Nice.
Texas.
Yeah.
So, get some chips and salsa, get some queso, and
Yeah.
go and eat some fajitas somewhere. But the nice thing is, like, even when I was going out to eat when I didn't plan on it, I
Mhm.
didn't have to get a salad everywhere I went
Right.
because I was able to track and know, okay, I know exactly how much room I have for error. And if you don't know, restaurants have nutrition info online.
Yeah, they
You can
do.
just Google it
Yeah.
while you're looking at the menu, and you can make your choices that way. So, yes, I probably ate less burritos and rice and beans, but at the same time, like, I didn't really need that stuff in the first place. Yeah, I could still eat delicious fajitas, or even a quesadilla,
Yeah.
as long as you track for it. I could eat whatever I wanted to, as long as it was tracked. That's
Right.
the thing. Like, I've done crash diets before. I've done Whole 30 before. And they're very restrictive as to what kinds of foods you can eat.
Yeah.
Those types of diets are not sustainable. The diet that I was on, I don't even call it a diet. It's a shift in how you eat.
Yeah.
You just view food differently.
Yeah.
And even in the weeks that I wasn't able to get 6 workouts in, I was still losing weight. I mean, these past couple weeks is a perfect example. Like, it's been, crazy, because everybody's starting to work from home. My
Mhm.
gym got shut down. Like, I can't go work out. I can't get resistance bands for another 2 weeks because everything's back ordered.
Yeah.
And so, but even just going out on walks and then just controlling what I eat, I'm still able to lose weight.
Right.
Because you're viewing food differently, and your mindset around eating is, I don't have to eat every single thing that's on my plate. You eat until you're satisfied, not eat until you're stuffed.
Right.
And I think another thing that you really focused on with me was drinking enough water. Nobody drinks enough water.
Nah.
But if you actually drink enough water, if you drink a gallon of water a day, then you will be full much more than you realize. Um, and that was something that made a big difference for me because I always wanted to snack at the office. But when I was getting my water intake in, I was never hungry.
Mhm.
So
So, how did you get enough water in? Because I know a lot of guys watching are like, yeah, he can do a gallon of water. He was an athlete. Yeah, yeah, whatever. He's used to that. What about me? I can't do that.
first off,
Like, what are you saying to those folks?
I never drank a whole gallon of water when I was an athlete. I
Damn, man.
never did.
Terrible.
I was not one of those crazy people that walked around with like a gallon jug from Walmart and just like look, look, look. Like, that was never me.
Bag.
Like, it's not my jam, man. Like, sorry, but that's just not me. So what I love is Yetis.
Yeah.
So Yeti cups. I have a Yeti cup in my office. I have a Yeti cup in my house. I have a Yeti cup in my car. Um,
Yeah.
some of them are off-brand, but that doesn't matter. But
Not an
these are
ad, guys. It's not an
these
ad.
are 32-ounce cups,
Yeah.
and they keep your stuff cold.
Yeah.
So what I would do to the beginning of the day, I would make sure all my Yetis are filled up. So I'd grab my Yeti from home, I'd fill it up with ice water, and I'd put it in my car.
Mhm.
So, and then when I got to my office, I'd fill up my Yeti cup at my office, and I'd drink on that all day. Every time I looked away, every time I took a break, I'd make sure to drink some water. And then I actually also have a half-gallon Yeti jug, that was 64 ounces of water. So I would refill this Yeti with the Yeti jug because it's basically the same as like a water jug, but
Mhm.
you can track it because it's a half a gallon. It's 64 ounces, and the
Right.
goal every day was 128 ounces. So two of those Yeti jugs.
Yep.
So I would do check-ins whenever I'd run out. I'd say, okay, I've drank 32 ounces of water, so I need to drink 4 full of these to get to my goal.
Yeah.
So if by noon I haven't drank 2 of these, then I need to step it up.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to track it because it keeps it cold. And what you realize is, when I started all of this, like, I used to drink a ton of coffee. Like,
Right.
you really don't have to drink as much coffee as you think.
When you're
I mean,
hydrated.
I exactly, when you're hydrated. The times when you start feeling bad is because you're dehydrated most of the time.
And coffee just dehydrates you. So it's
Exactly.
yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, and this might not be applicable to a ton of people, but I have like this little neck pain that I can feel when I'm dehydrated. It's like a stress thing. If I get stressed out and I haven't drank enough water, I feel like it almost feels like a pinched nerve in my neck. And so I know, okay, I need to drink more. But having that accountability with like, hey, where are you at on your water throughout the day with Dallas, like that helped me stay on track.
Yeah.
And it helps keep you full. And at the end of the day, it helps you lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple things I want to note, guys, like Marshall's talking about all these systems that he used, and he works very well with systems, but he wasn't perfect on all this stuff. Like there were times he didn't hit his calorie goal, he missed a workout, or he only drank 100 ounces of water. Like he didn't always drink a gallon, but I guess the big thing here is like he stuck with it. You know, he didn't fall off because he didn't have a perfect day or what have you. And then the other thing was, yeah, you're talking a lot about systems, like a lot of just simple routines that you've implemented for yourself, whether we've discussed it or you kind of went and did it on your own. I want to say you definitely work well with that type of thing. Like you're very like regimented. All right, I have a schedule. If I schedule it, it's gonna get done. If not, it won't. And just having simple routines and systems and ways to track things like that, I think that was the biggest thing with you being consistent with all this stuff.
Well, and I don't even think it's necessarily a system. Like I'm a big, like, I guess you would say process person.
Yeah.
I'm very numbers oriented. And so I think through everything very logically, very rationally. But it's not even really a system. It's what everybody else calls habits. So if you set habits in place, good habits. So the thing is, like for breakfast, I would eat a banana and I'd have two hard boiled eggs for either breakfast or snacks.
Right.
Like I would bring those with me every single day. And so they were in front of me. Like I knew that that was what I was going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I made my lunch for the whole week on Sunday. So I brought that lunch with me. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to go out to eat. No, I'm going to eat exactly what I cooked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just setting, like, you don't give yourself an option to veer off course. But like you said, I was definitely not perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, there were days where I went 10% over my calorie goal. There were a lot of days where I did not hit my 128 ounces. But when you're going towards that water goal, you're going to inevitably drink more than you would have otherwise.
Right.
And the biggest thing is it's really just more of a focus on how you view things, how you think about things, in terms of, okay, well, I'm going to blow it. So I might as well blow the whole day. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
if I ate fried chicken for lunch, like, might as well get a burger for dinner. Like, no,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
biggest thing,
Too
like,
extreme.
that you focused with me was minimize the damage. So it's okay if you went off course and you had a chicken fried steak for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that you blew your whole weekend and that you're just going to wake up and eat 6 pounds of bacon and then you're going to eat whatever you want for lunch. Like, no, like
Track Monday. Yeah.
you've done that, get back on track the next meal or the
Yeah.
next day.
Right. Right.
Because that helps you minimize the damage and helps you move to where you want to go faster.
No. Yeah. 100%, bro. It's like, and I get a lot of people. I hear that a lot. It's the same mindset that says, all right, I'm gonna wait till after the holidays because I just want to get this out of my system. It's like, bro, there is nothing to get out of your system if you just focus on what you can control. You know, it's like you have a bad day. You went out Friday night. All right, let's make sure tomorrow is good. We're not going to wait until Monday and just not do anything up until that point because we want a blank slate. I call it the blank slate mindset. So, yeah, we definitely did a good job like keeping that under control. Yeah, we talked a lot about like where you were and like we're talking a lot about the process actually, just like how things have been going for you like leading up to this. But like, where would you say you are now? Like, how you feel? How you looking?
Okay, so as far as where I am now, um, you know, I think that first off, I didn't expect to get where I was going so quickly. So I was very, very happy with that. There's always more work to be done.
Of course.
But the biggest thing that I'm focusing on moving forward is gaining some of that muscle mass back.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to kind of my powerlifting roots, I'm switching gyms to where I have more um, equipment available, where I can really start working on uh, improving my strength and mass and things like that. Because before it was really just losing that weight,
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't fitting in my clothes. I mean, it was just I didn't feel good about myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so now, obviously, I want to lose more weight. I mean, my goal is to lose at least another 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the end of the day, the end goal is to lose another 32 pounds. Um, and I think that's very, very attainable.
Of course.
But at the same time, now I'm shifting towards gaining some of that strength back, and really kind of transforming my body to what I want it to be, because I've seen what's possible. So now I want to push even harder. I mean,
Right.
I went down 2 pant sizes, and a shirt size in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like before this, I would have not thought that was possible.
Yeah. Shirt
So
swimming on you. You got some hip hop shirts on, bro.
yeah,
Just
I mean,
on you.
everything's loose on me now. I
Yeah.
have to tuck in my shirts, otherwise they're too big.
Yeah.
And so that's a really good feeling. And to know that
Mhm.
the people around me are noticing too, like they make comments about it. Even the people I see every day, they're like, man, you've lost a lot of weight. That's more motivation than anything. But at the end of the day, like I want to be healthy for myself, and I want to be healthy for, my future family. And that
Well,
was the biggest motivator for me.
yeah. Yeah. So it's just like even something as like your fiance who sees you every day. When she starts to notice those things, I'm sure that feels great. Like, oh shit, like okay, like start feeling yourself a little bit. But yeah, man, that's an awesome job. Oh yeah, and then you brought up something about the gym too. It's like I know you're used to like going hard in the gym and having all this equipment, but we made it happen with your apartment gym. You didn't really have a lot of the things we wanted, so we had to get a little resourceful in terms of exercise selection and just being creative. But ultimately, you got the results you wanted, and it's like at the end of the day, we still have that to look forward to. Like once you get back in the gym, all right, we can start like really loading up the weight on the big three and using the machines that you want to use and that type of thing. So yeah, it just goes to show you your circumstances don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait until you get into this nice gym or you're in a nice place or you're in the right place in your life. Like we're making it happen regardless, man. You're going through all these transitions. The gym you have access to isn't the greatest. I mean, even now, like right, this is going to be a transition too. We're going to make this work through the quarantine, the coronavirus. Like you obviously you're transitioning by working from home. You don't have access to any gym at this point. Like, yeah, how do you feel about that, man? Like just making this work from home.
I mean, it's like what we were talking about yesterday. I mean, I have like cinder block pavers in my backyard. So like we're gonna use those to do, different exercises. It's more so during this whole work from home time, like it's more so staying active, not just like completely giving up on everything that you've done. Because you're not going to have the same, facilities and equipment that you do in a gym. But as long as you stay active, you can limit the loss and limit the damage.
Damage
Um,
control, yeah.
and so the biggest thing for me though is like even even when I've been doing this whole work from home thing and I've been super busy, like I've still been smart, like unconsciously, subconsciously, I've still been able to be smart about how I'm eating. And like if I'm not working out that day, like I know that I need to eat less. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not even a conscious decision. Like I'm just naturally eating less because it's like, okay, well, I know that how much I was eating before when I was working out, like I need to eat slightly less. And then when I get to track it, I'm eating 200 calories less per day because I'm burning 200 calories less per day.
Right. You
And
you just
so
man, that's it.
the biggest thing is like like you said, your situation does not have to be perfect. You
Yeah.
don't need to wait around because the perfect time's never going to come.
Right.
And the third thing is it's not a massive lifestyle shift. You don't have to spend hours and hours a day in the gym and give up all the things that you do now. It's small adjustments, and making those small adjustments to how you eat and small adjustments to how you work out can make a huge difference over time. I think the biggest thing that I've learned throughout this whole process is you have to trust the process. I mean, I remember the first 2 weeks that we did this, I didn't lose weight. I was gaining weight. And I
Yeah.
was in the gym and I was like eating right. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what is this? This
Yeah.
is garbage. But you said trust the process, and I trusted the process, and guess what? The next week I lost 4 pounds, and then I've been on the downhill slope ever since then,
Yeah, and then you
because
get
it
in
takes a
here
little
early.
while for your body to adjust.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's all about trusting the process, and the systems that Dallas put in place for me, they worked for me because he tailors them to everybody.
Yeah.
So they worked for my situation,
Hmm.
and I was able to lose 32 pounds in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And I have no qualms about wanting to lose another 32, over the next 12 weeks or 24 weeks, 6 months. So
Yeah, however long it takes. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, that was a big thing too, because I think most people in that situation are like, that's that breaking point, right, where they give up too. Like, damn, I've been doing this for 2 weeks, not losing any weight. What's going on? And then we like your weight wasn't moving down, but your
the
measurements were.
measurements were
Right.
going down,
Yeah.
and I
So
had
it's
never taken measurements before.
right.
I
Yeah.
mean, and that makes, I think that's a bigger impact than the scale.
Right.
I mean, you look at my measurements, I lost 8 inches around my waist,
Right.
eight
Yeah.
inches around my stomach.
Yeah.
And that's a big number. 8 inches in 12 weeks, that's almost an inch a week. I mean, that's crazy. And I dropped 2 pant sizes. I lost 6 inches around my hips and my waist. Um, I mean, that's a game changer. I had to go buy new clothes. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you can't do it now, but yeah, like, yeah,
yeah, I have to order new clothes.
yeah, you gotta order new clothes on layaway or something. But yeah, dude, that's a good point. Yeah, the measurements, it's just like the scale weight doesn't tell you everything. So I'm glad that we were able to take pictures and measurements to reinforce that, so that hey, like when the scale weight's not moving, we still have other things to rely on and look at to make decisions. So you were coachable enough to look at that and say, hey, like it's all good. I'm just gonna trust the process and see what happens. And then, yeah, you got to your goal a little early, man, like a week ahead of time. So congratulations to you on that, man. Um,
Appreciate it.
what is what's one final piece of advice that you have for any busy full-time worker, entrepreneur, somebody working from home, anybody just like yourself, man, somebody who's working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, maybe has a family, maybe feels like they can't prioritize this right now and their life is suffering because of it? Like, what's one piece of advice you want to give to that group of individuals?
So here's my advice. First off, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, self-employed individual, and you're working 40 hours a week, you're not working hard enough. But I mean, for me, I mean, I work 60 to 70 hours a week. I work 12, 13, 14-hour days, because I am passionate about what I do. Um, and for me, I didn't see any time in there because I spend, 4 or 5 hours a night, maybe with my fiance, and I didn't want to lose any of that. Um, so the biggest thing for me was finding a way to fit in what I needed to do to change my body and lose weight while I was doing all of the other things I needed to do. I didn't want to have to sacrifice. And I was able to find a system where I didn't have to sacrifice. I sacrificed 30 minutes a day. That's it. And I sacrificed, an hour on the weekends to meal prep. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
Less than 4 hours a week was I sacrificing. And when you spend 60 or 70 hours in the office, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing was, my biggest piece of advice is Dallas knows how to tailor a program to fit your needs and your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, nobody is the same.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different situation. And so you have to be able to trust the process that A, he knows what the hell he's doing because he does, and B, that he knows, that you are busy and you have other things to do and you don't have time to spend 2 or 3 hours a day in the gym.
Yeah.
But that's not what is necessary. There's never a perfect time. There's never a perfect place. There's never a perfect situation. But you can push through all of those things and start somewhere. You start somewhere, and
Yeah.
then once you trust the process, you'll get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that's what Dallas has done for me. That's
Yeah.
what Scarlet Mass has done for me. So
My man. Yeah, appreciate it, Marshall. Yeah. No, definitely. That's a good point, because I feel like people, when they don't know where to start and they're overwhelmed, like maybe they put on more weight over the years and they're like,
got
they
to
want
start
to,
somewhere.
they try to make like a big change. It's like, dude, just start small. Start with something, because something's better than nothing. Even right now, like, oh, my gym's closed, so I'm just not going to do anything. Like, bro, start small. It's okay. You can just do stuff from home. Maybe not take as much time as you would typically. Just start somewhere. Um, Yeah, man, definitely appreciate your time, man. I know you got to run for another. My man's always on the clock, man. He took the time out of his busy schedule to hop on here and talk to me. He's got an appointment in a few minutes, so I'm gonna let him
But it
go.
was scheduled, so I'm good with it.
It
It
was
was
scheduled.
on the schedule.
Um, yeah, man. Any other final words you want to leave the viewers with?
Well, here's what I'll say. First off, if you're still listening, I appreciate you guys.
Word, yeah,
Uh,
we've been talking to man.
but but the last thing is, like I went from not being very sedentary, not working out at all, to losing 32 pounds in 12 weeks. Um, it's not unattainable. I did not starve myself. I ate pretty much whatever I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
It's just really a mindset shift. And
Mm,
that's what Dallas is a master with, is helping you shift your mindset, whether you know it or not. Like by week 4, like I was already thinking differently about it. So that's the biggest thing is just trusting the process. You got to start somewhere. I
yeah.
mean, I didn't even lose weight for the first 2 weeks, but then I started dropping pounds left and right. I mean, I
Yeah.
was waking up, I was losing a pound a day. Like it was crazy. Um, and there's no better feeling than when you get to the end of that and you see, man, like I can't even fit in the clothes I was wearing before.
Yeah, man.
And there's countless stories. It's not just me. I mean, there's countless stories of guys and girls in Scarlet Mass that have seen the same results because it's a sustainable process. That's what I cared about, was something that was sustainable. I've lost weight before, but I wanted to make sure that I could keep the weight off. And the way that Dallas has taught me to think about everything, it's easy. Like I don't have to think about it to know that I'm going to keep the weight off. And I'm looking to lose another 32. So
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, if that's not motivation enough, I don't know what is. But
I mean,
it literally will change your life.
yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, I mean, it has changed the way I eat, changed the way I sleep. I feel better. I'm more active than ever. And it's awesome.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the kind words, bro. Yeah, no, you're definitely someone who's very rewarding to work with, man. And one of the things I like you said, it's about the mindset, man. It's like it's not. I didn't give you some magic program. None of the exercises I'm doing with you are that advanced or that special or like amazing, or the nutrition I'm giving you isn't like groundbreaking. It's just science. It's just simple stuff. But the
It's
mindset
the
that you've been able to
process.
apply, the process and the mindset that you've been able to apply this stuff is the reason you've been successful with it, man. So Marshall, thanks again for hopping on with me, man. Appreciate you taking. This was only supposed to be like a half hour. We ended up talking almost an hour. Definitely appreciate all the value bombs you're dropping to everyone. I hope you guys found this message helpful. If you guys need some help with health insurance, connect with my man Marshall if you're still watching. Shameless plug.
Absolutely.
There's an ad for the Yetis in the. No, I'm kidding. Discount code Marshall10 to get 10% off of Yeti jugs. Nah, but anyways, appreciate you hopping on here, man. If you're watching to this point, definitely appreciate you. This has been a long interview, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. How do I do that?